We're not the leader of our Liga, but we're keeping up the chase after Tres puntos in Merida. It went 1-1 after we'd taken the lead there, but don't worry, La Rubia, Kevin's going to feed you. KM 11 times DM 10, not Malaga's greatest performance, but the wins will take them. Now, one game to go until ho, 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 as we go back home to deliver a blow at our festive show. Next up, Algerciras, the team that ain't going to fear us, because in the league, they're near us. But Captain Pellicer, I have faith he'll steer us away, get us a win, and make El Argo delirious. So come with us. Jump on the GiriCast bus. It's a must. If it's Malaga, you lust. Good day, everyone. I am Matt Harrison, and you're listening to the GiriCast on Sport Direct Radio, the Malaga fan podcast for all the Giris out there. As always, I'm delighted to be joined by Alex Ashmore.
Hello. Hello. How are you, Matt?
Hello. Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I coming towards the end of my term, and I break up tomorrow. Actually, is my last day. But an exciting week ahead of about 4 different games I'm going to. So looking forward to it.
Oh, what games are you going to?
So going to watch Real Madrid Castilla on Saturday, so I can do some scouting for both Castilla and Intercity. They're playing Intercity. Going to the Villarreal game on Sunday at the Bernabeu, and the women's game the following week on the 20th, and the basketball game the day after that. So should be good fun.
Do you have any connections to Real Madrid, or?
No, I just all of my own money. I've just paid for these tickets because I love
it.
If I'd had to pay for it, I wouldn't be going to any of them.
Yeah, it did seem a bit Real Madrid centric. I was just talking to someone else about how my term ends Friday, which I'm also very excited about. And that person I was talking to was Chris Marquez. Chris Marquez, how are you?
Busy. Very busy at work. But fine.
Yeah. Is the GiriCast a nice release for the busy, sort of stressful period?
No, it isn't.
Well, at least sort of, we don't have the stress this year of sort of this time last year. We would be talking about we need to beat Alaves at home to have a chance to catch in the relegation safety spots. At least we don't have that this year. Actually, this time last year, we would have been looking ahead to the Alaves game as well as a World Cup final. That was a fun day.
Ages ago, that does.
That was actually like that World Cup final day, and then going to La Rosaleda, beating Alaves with, fittingly Pablo Chavarria scoring. That was a day.
Chris would have still been in Holland. I was back in Exeter.
I was going to La Rosaleda. No, nothing's changed for me. I'm stuck in that cycle. And that seems perhaps a good place to introduce the news, because obviously Alaves did well eventually after losing at La Rosaleda and went up to the top flight. We have a top flight club coming to La Rosaleda in the new year. Rather fittingly, a day after King's Day, we have La Real coming down, Real Sociedad. I'll say from the off, like I know people sort of wanted the Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atleti, me too, but I absolutely adore Real Sociedad. So I am very much excited about this. Alex, does this tie excite you?
It does. I think, obviously, like you said, would have rather one of the, this is going to sound disparaging towards Real Sociedad, one of the big guns, Real Madrid, Barcelona. In some ways as well, I think I would have preferred a Sevilla or Betis for obvious reasons. But Real Sociedad is a good game, and without wanting to sound too critical towards some of the other lower teams in La Liga, better than maybe an Almeria or a Celta Vigo, which would just be we'd end up losing and not really get as many tickets as, say, Real Sociedad. So no, very excited, and get to see, depending on if those big players play, we'll get to see some good quality footballers playing that day.
I'm obsessed with Kubo, so I'm looking, hopefully he'll play. And like you said, no disrespect to those clubs, Alex. Real Sociedad have just won their Champions League group, so they're not like some sort of, there is a gap. They've just won their group with Inter, Benfica, Salzburg. Chris, we're not going to go down the path of sort of having debates about the Copa del Rey. We know that you're not as big on it. I don't think you absolutely despise it, but how do you feel
about it, Chris?
Sure.
Not a fan of the Copa del Rey.
I'm a very, very big fan.
Oh yeah, no, you were really loving the Eldense game.
I'm interested in how many players we're going to lose now to injuries.
So this doesn't even excite you a little bit, no?
Yeah, it does. But I think of all the teams, probably Real Sociedad is the team I wanted to see most.
Okay.
And we're going to see them. I think Real Sociedad is like a very...
They're cool. They're just cool.
Yeah, it's a cool club who, over the last 10 years, gained a lot of, I don't know.
They run their club the right way.
Yeah, modernization. And it's a very modern, hip and cool club.
Do you think it's fitting, Matt, that we met that guy in Madrid in the bar who was a Real Sociedad fan, and we're playing them in the cup?
And we should say as well, but it's relevant to Malaga here. Chris is right to say, especially, I think you are right, about 10 years they've been building towards this. And of course, our boy Loren Juarez was one of the people that was part of that rise up the league. So,
but it's also like 10 years ago, it wasn't an interesting club. And now they're a very fashionable, modern club. That's what they've become in 10 years, and that's incredible.
I loved the Real Sociedad team of, I think it's 2004, 2005, with Nihat and Kovacevic and Xabi Alonso. So I've always had a bit of a soft spot for them. But yeah, they did fall. You are right. They did have Chris Coleman as their manager when
David Moyes.
Yeah, David Moyes. Yeah, but that Chris Coleman was when they got relegated, I think. I think he had them in Segunda. My brother used to be a season ticket holder at Real Sociedad when David Moyes was the manager, actually.
Probably. So, he lived there, didn't he?
Did for 1 year, yes, when David Moyes was the manager. So a bit of they're my brother's favorite Spanish team. So a Harrison Spanish derby there as well. And I think I said in one of our, I can't remember if it was on, maybe it was just in our WhatsApp, actually, how much I love Real Sociedad's home shirt this year. But I did realize that
they always like their blue and white.
Yeah. But this year it's like sponsorless and it's cool. And I like
it sounds like your brother should come over for this match.
He should, yeah. I think he might be busy. But yeah, I like Kubo. I'm looking forward to seeing. He had the best celebration this year by a distance when he did pretended he pulled.
Kubo in Spanish is a bucket.
Yes, I think someone which is he's definitely not a bucket of a player. He's a fun player.
But it's a bucket. Maybe it's on your bucket list to see him play.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't think I've seen him play yet, as far as I'm aware. I can't remember seeing him at Mallorca or Villarreal. So, yes, and he's very good now. Who knows, Alex? He might be back at Real Madrid very soon because I still think they've got a clause to buy him back if they wanted.
Sorry, I dropped out briefly there. I was changing Wi-Fi's. What was the question?
No, it wasn't a question. I was just talking about my love of Kubo. And
yes. I think Alex is still on the Real Madrid Wi-Fi.
And I was saying there's a chance he could get to Real Madrid soon with a buyback clause. You don't know. He seems pretty happy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think very similar to the lad at Girona who's got that 8 million buyback clause. Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if they do that in January just so that Girona don't win the league.
This leads us perhaps in nicely. We don't need to talk in depth about it. But the reason Malaga are playing Real Sociedad in the last 32 is because they did win a cup game last Wednesday on a bank holiday here in Spain. They beat Eldense, who are sort of just below mid-table in Segunda. I went to the game, so I'll just quickly say that, like, as a cup game goes, it was really quite fun, actually. There was a lot of kids on the pitch for Malaga. And I think we talked about on the live stream, Alex, that they were all very impressive, actually. And, it was quite a worthwhile cup game, I felt, and it bred a bit of confidence amongst them. And they played really well. I know you watched the game, Alex. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I mean, I think just it's nice to see those young lads get a chance. And this is a new square on the bingo that I might start mentioning too much. But Elton John was talking about this on that Peter Crouch podcast. I don't know if you've listened to it, where he's talking about giving young players a chance. And I'm very much in agreement with him. I think, you'll never know how they are until you play them. And you've given some of these young lads a chance, like Aaron Ochoa Maloney. Nick will appreciate that because I said his full name. I'm not allowed to say the Ochoa or just Aaron. But yeah, I think wonderful that they get a chance to get a game, and we might have unearthed some gems.
Yeah, I should say Izan Marino made his debut. He was excellent. I thought Musa, who's been not playing at all this season, was excellent. But yes, I think the star attraction was Aaron Ochoa Maloney, if we have to keep adding that on the end, who was excellent, 16-year-old. He had a lovely afternoon. I don't know. I can't remember if you watched any of the game in the end, Chris, but he's my biznaga. Alex.
Yeah, mine as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, triple. It's hard not to give it to anyone else, really. He was fantastic. I think generally the whole squad to play with, 7 academy graduates in the starting 11?
Yeah.
I think. So, just fantastic.
Yeah, and actually that leads us in quite nicely, I guess, that literally about 2 hours ago before we press record, there'd been rumours earlier today that there was going to be an announcement about lots of our very promising young players signing contract extensions, and that has happened. It's been announced tonight by the club. Carlos Lopez, Haitam, Murillo, Danny Lorenzo and Musa have all signed they've all signed till 2027, apart from Musa, who signed until 2026. Chris, that's great news, isn't it?
Yeah. My question is why Musa signs till 2026 and not till 2027.
Yeah, that was a strange one. I thought that too,
but it's great. I think the best news is for Haitam to sign a new contract. I mean, that's the biggest one of these fishes. But yeah, it's great. But still, they all have to prove themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, Carlos Lopez was great. A great second goalie.
Played well in the Eldense game too.
Murillo, also a great player who can have a big future, but also has to still. I mean, he's proven nothing so far, right?
Well, I wouldn't say he's proven nothing, but you're right.
Yeah,
he's got a long way to go before you know what a great. But yes, he started very, very well.
He started very well, but we can say that. But the future will say, and it's good to have them in the future.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you was reading the names out that perhaps if we subbed a Murillo and Musa out, you've got a start of quite a good 5-a-side team there, actually. Yeah, actually, I was really impressed with Carlos Lopez when at Baracaldo. He was a bit flat at first, but then I noticed he seemed really confident and was sort of shouting at people, and I noticed even more at the Eldense game. So
he's a very good goalkeeper. The thing is, a goalkeeper is best at the age of 30?
Yeah, I'd say 30s. They are getting younger, to be fair. But yeah, in my lifetime, I'd say.
I mean, he's a bit far away from that. But if he can keep him till that age, I mean, at some point he will need to start being a first goalie. But then you can. Sorry?
How old is he now?
19.
I don't know. 20? 19?
19, but yeah, 19 or 20. Should say though.
But you can have the situation that Feyenoord has with Justin Bijlo.
Oh, that situation.
Yeah. Who?
Sorry, I don't know the situation.
Oh, Justin Bijlo started from the youth in Feyenoord. He never left, and is now for 4 years already the goalie of the first team.
Okay. I've obviously not watched Feyenoord. Sorry.
No, that's.
Like I said, I think he's an exciting one there.
Bijlo is, by the way, also the keeper of the national Dutch team.
All right, okay. I've probably seen his name. It
can be that you didn't hear of him. I mean,
yeah, of course. It's just it's not.
It's not Gareth Bale.
It's no offense to the Bijlo family.
No,
he's great. I know Feyenoord fans like to come down to Marbella in the winter.
It's happening again in January, and that's what I want to ask you.
I love the Bijlo situation.
And I wanted to ask you off the pot, but now that we discussed, Alex, why are you laughing?
No, just
Carry on, Chris.
I don't like it when you laugh. So what I wanted to ask, I'm going to see Feyenoord play.
Okay.
Are you joining? I mean, it's in Marbella. It's in the
Yeah,
weekend.
if like I'm not doing anything else and it's not like, yeah, I'd like to go again. We can see when they're playing and see from there. But I'd be open to going. I've got a final
I'm
shirt.
always open. Alex, are you coming?
what date in January is it?
Beginning of January.
Okay.
So I fly back to Madrid from the UK on the 2nd. So, and I'm
Fifth.
very much looking at coming down for the Real Sociedad game. So
When is Real Sociedad? It's
Oh yeah,
that
we can say that.
it's
It's
Sunday, isn't it?
It's the day after King's Day. It's the 7th of January, 9 p.m. Sunday night. The
and
last
Feyenoord will be in the weekend of the 5th.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
so maybe I can get a train a day earlier and come down and watch.
Yeah,
What a way to celebrate the Kings.
Yeah. it's a date.
With the Kings of Dutch football, which I mean definitely if they come into Marbella.
Well, they are still the champions. Not for long with PSV, but
yes, PSV are.
perfect. Let's go back to Malaga.
Okay, yeah, maybe it's not a good place to go back to in Malaga. We have spoken a lot since we started this podcast, Chris. We've used the words Ramon and injury a lot. He was coming back. He was getting fit. He's been training with the first team. Again, you perhaps know better than me, but I got the impression that the plan was to perhaps start easing him in after the winter break. He is injured again. I only saw the really elongated Spanish version of his injury, and I saw the word rectus, which was rather childish of me. But do we know what it is?
He's injured
As
his
long
right.
as I don't see rectum, I'm not that worried. No, but it's a worrying situation, and why? Because when a player comes back from injury and he gets injured again, you can blame the physical stuff and you can blame the medical team, if you ask me.
Well, but this is a player that's injury prone. I'm not saying you can't rule that out, but like he's been injured a lot, and I think we must have had different staff there.
Yeah, but look at all the injuries we had from the past 3 seasons, and look at any other club in Europe. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's not normal how many injuries we have.
You're right. I do think like there is a lot of them. I would agree with that, and I'm sure they were doing their looking internally at maybe what's the cause of that, but I think a lot of clubs have these just random years. So
years. Much.
Yeah, there has been a lot, but it's
insane.
Yeah, I'd be interested, like, because again, you might be able to tell me this if it is the same medical staff. Of do these, like, we've had a lot of managers. Do they bring in their own people? Do we have like a manager? Because I don't know. I was just sort of thinking out loud.
I think something is failing.
Well, and also I don't know
it as well, because I've heard in an interview someone at the club say like, we know the problem and we're trying to find a solution and to see what the problem is, and they're getting all kinds of very expensive, I don't know, things to help them find the problem or to train better.
Yeah,
but it is a problem. It's not normal if you have so many injuries.
It could be, you hear sometimes clubs talk about the training ground, so maybe the new training ground might be I don't know enough about this. I wouldn't feel confident commenting.
I always think of the 40 families who had to move out because of that new training.
Yeah, I mean, justice for the.
It's still sad.
You mean the Bucks?
Yeah, the Bucks, the family Bucks.
Okay, just quickly then, just to wrap up the news. You guys can perhaps tell me a little bit about this because I think I saw it towards the end of my day in work today. Kike Perez, Alex, has said about January signings.
Yeah. Before I mention that, just to briefly scienceify the GUI-cast, if that's even a word. The rectus femoris is the top muscle on your thigh, so the one that runs over the hip joint and then goes down the center of your thigh. Yes.
So going towards the rectum.
Dr. Ashmore.
Is it in that direction, or is it like the other way?
No comment.
Is it going towards your balls, or is it going towards your rectum?
It covers from your sort of hip down to your just above your knee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's not
on the front of your leg.
Depends which way it goes.
Yeah.
Go down, go up.
Yes. In answer to your original question, Matt, he did say that it was vague but specific in one case that he would look, or the club will look to get cover for Haitham over January, but he didn't specify as to any other positions exactly as to whether he will be strengthening. I think it was very much a sort of look, see how it goes sort of thing. And the one comment he did make was the player will have to come for the club and not the money, which it kind of made me laugh because we can't pay him anyway. So I don't even know why the money was even an option. We can pay them, but not big money.
Yeah.
I'm also waking up every morning, going to work, and to think I'm going for the company, not for the money.
Well, you see, in my job, we haven't played for a while. We do have a staff football team with the name of my school on it. So I do get the opportunity when they score to kiss the badge of my with my school badge on it. So I have done that, but I should add my school is called Swans, and it does have a swan on it. So it's.
I mean, I know a lot of people, and some are smart, some are less smart, and some are like
down the middle.
Really stupid, right?
Okay.
None of them would go to a job interview and say, "Oh no, I'm here for the money, because I really like money. Don't care about the club or anything. I'm just here for the money." It's
to be honest,
what kind of stupid answer is that?
I'd rather they say that than give a John Rahm style answer and say, yeah, it's new competition. Just talking about the Live Golf League in Saudi Arabia, signing a $400 million deal. Oh yeah, no, it's just a new competition. I'm really excited about it. Don't kid us. Obviously, they won't.
I mean, let's be honest. Nobody says in a job interview, "I don't really like your club, but I'm going for the money, so don't worry." I mean,
it's true.
What kind of answer is that? I mean, it's ridiculous. Everybody works for money, and Malaga's a great club to play for. And I think a lot of players in Primera RFF who don't play for Castellón or Ibiza would be happy to go and play for Malaga.
I think so.
But
I'll play for free if they want to give me a go. If it's just a game, I might need to make some money eventually, though. Yeah, because I don't think I'll get in the shop window, to be honest with you. Anyway, right. We did win a game this week, though. Let's go and talk about winning that game. So yes, Malaga went to the famous Roman city of Merida this past Sunday night. It wasn't Saturday. It was definitely Sunday. It was Sunday, but then it was Saturday, and then it was Sunday. I think I've kept up there. But anyway, I'm not bitter about that move. But I will say again, even though people were getting messed about, another great away following from the club. There's lots of buses going up again. They're in that sort of top corner of that sort of big stand behind the goals.
Nice stadium by the looks.
Great stadium. I would have loved to have gone on a Saturday.
Me too. If it was on a Saturday.
Did we get the stats on how many Malaga fans there were?
I don't know actually, but
I
would if I had to hazard a guess in 500 to 700.
Yeah, I would have guessed.
I tried to count them, but the the camera. Oh,
Yeah, it cut them
I,
off.
I started a few times, 1, 2, and then the camera went away again. So I started over again, but then I didn't know if I counted the person I counted before again. So I had to start all over again. Then I waited a while because the match started and they didn't point the camera. So the moment they pointed the camera, I started counting again, started from 1. And that overnight, impossible. Like really impossible.
I was going to mention as well. I didn't notice
Good question. Yeah, that's a good question.
I did notice it when we did the live stream. I only read about it the day after that. I thought it was quite cool that the Malaga fans joined in with the 7th minute applause for Juanito, which I don't know if Merida do every single game, because obviously that's the club he was coaching when he had the tragic car accident, and like an absolute. Yeah, born in, there's a statue of him in Fuengirola, played for Malaga. I think actually when we did, what did we call it when we did the live stream? Did we call it like 6 players that changed, or 6 giants of Malaga football or something, didn't we? And I think I chose him as mine. And,
he's the biggest giant because he played for Real Madrid. I think he won the Champions League with Real Madrid.
He didn't win the Champions League, but he was part of like the club that, like, when Real Madrid weren't very good, he was part of the team that made come good with the Vulture squad.
He's even a legend in Madrid.
Yeah, they still chant well, I don't know, Alex might, I believe they still chant in the 7th minute, Ia, Juanito Maravilla. It's like still a sort of, he's an icon there.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I just thought it was quite cool that Malaga fans got to show appreciation for, a club legend. And like you said, Chris, a local legend, which again, I missed in the live stream. So I just thought it was worth.
I mean, you have Isco, right? I think Isco is one of the biggest players from Malaga, but we don't see him yet because he's still playing and he has been not so good over the last years.
Well, this year.
Yeah, this year he's very good, but if you look at the last years at Real Madrid and at Seville,
yeah, of course, yeah.
But like Juanito is like way above Isco still, if you ask me.
Yeah, he's a bit of a mad character, isn't he, as well? He's sort of renowned for being a bit wild and crazy. But yeah, always nice to talk about Juanito. But we're going to talk about the players we have at Malaga at the moment. I think we said on the live stream, Alex, we talked about the starting 11. We were very happy with it. I think we all agreed on paper it was the best we had available. So I'll ask Chris, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice sturdy yeah.
No, yes, because then I'm thinking Dione, and then I'm thinking, what else do we have? And then I think of Lauren, and then I think, we just 11.
I think I said on the live stream. By the way, I keep saying on the live stream. If you don't know, we do a live stream for mostly, actually all match days, most of them. So go check those out on match day. I was happy about David Larrubia playing sort of centrally again. I like him there. He started the Eldense game there and looked brilliant for half an hour. And obviously when Aaron Ochoa Maloney came on, can we get rid of the Maloney? It's really irritating, that third name.
Yeah.
Aaron Ochoa came on that he pushed Larrubia out wide. So I was, and I was happy to see like Murillo back in as well. And Victor Garcia starting. I think he might have started the Eldense game. I think that was his first start, or was it before? It was good to see him back anyway. Despite Malaga having a good team, Alex, not a great start.
No, it was quite disappointing / I'm trying to think of a good word to describe it. It just felt a bit wishy-washy. And there were even occasions where I was a bit nervous that they were going to take the lead. Thankfully, they didn't. I think the nerves were calmed when that penalty was awarded in the 17th minute, and Roberto very nicely tucked it away. But that lead didn't last for long. I think up until up until we scored the second, I'd say it was a very even maybe I could say Merida were the better side.
I think we talked about, didn't we, that in the first 15 minutes or so, they were certainly 10 minutes, they came flying out the blocks at us. And we were really overwhelmed by them. And I think we even said, like, no club, maybe not in regards of like creating chances, but they were like ferocious with us. We just could not get out. And you said that you were a bit worried about them scoring. I was just waiting for the goal to go in, to be honest with you.
Let's be honest. We are overwhelmed very quick.
It was mad
because it's insane. If you look where Merida stands, it's another very shitty team we play against and who dominate us in some. Well, dominate isn't the right word, man. Yeah, they dominated us.
You're right, Chris. Maybe not dominate in regards of chances and stuff, but they were certainly like the better team.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can say yes, but you have to win these matches, and you do. But it also worries me because there aren't much matches where we are the better team, if you ask me, or where you see a significant difference between us and the other team.
I'd say that.
If you look at what's done, you see a massive difference. How easy they win, how easy they play. If you look at Ibiza, their matches are also easier. If you look at Cordoba, the last weeks, they're also winning their matches easily. And if you look at us, we struggle every match.
Yeah, I think that's going to come with having a young team, and we can't do much about that. I don't really know what we should. I think it's, again, we can press. We can go back and just press play on loads of episodes over the last few weeks and just play the line. We need someone that can play a killer pass. We need someone that can play a killer pass. Which is why I like David Larrubia in the middle. I think he does that a little bit more. He's not perfect. That's, again, I'm not going to say he needs to start and things like that, but that's what I found most exciting about Aaron Ochoa playing in Eldense. That I think he gave the ball away quite a lot, actually, but he gave the ball away trying to play that pass. And now I'm not saying we need to put a 16-year-old in our starting 11 every game, but
but also the thing. What I'm also noticing is that we lose the ball a lot on the midfield.
Yes, I would say we've talked about the striker situation and us only having one.
But our midfield defensively isn't looking great either.
No, I'd agree with that. Or Gennaro is just hot and cold. You never know what you're going to get with him. And Danny Lorenzo, I thought he was okay in this game, actually, but he's still. I think we talked about, actually, on the live stream, didn't we, Alex? That is he possibly like not our worst player this year, but because he's not been awful, but our biggest disappointment this year because we expected perhaps.
Maybe that. I think that because Danny Lorenzo is a bit of a creative player, La Rubia is a creative player, Kevin is a creative player. Are we having too many creative players on the pitch?
But then we're also saying we need to create more.
Is that a thing or not?
No, I think it can be in a way that maybe you have all of them sort of not crowding the midfield as such, but they all have that creative mindset. But I think that one focal point maybe does work a little bit like not a target man, but someone to link the midfield and attack. And I think if you're having everyone trying to run forward, there's no real cohesion. It's more just sort of, I'm going to go on this run now. I'm going to try and wiggle through three players. I do think, on the other hand, though, having 2 or 3 creative midfielders is a wonderful thing. You just maybe have a little bit more cohesion between the 3 of them. Yeah,
and I'd argue Danny Lorenzo, you're right. I think he is creative, but I don't really see him as like a number 10 or like a wide. No. I think he is good at he certainly was good at like breaking from midfield. Was it against Zaragoza last year when he sort of run through their defense and like broke through and scored? It was a game at home, and he was excellent. And that's the Danny Lorenzo I want to see. I actually think on paper it's a nice balance we've got, but it's
really because you have Narrow defensively.
What do you mean narrow?
I just sorry.
What do you say? Narrow defensively?
No, Fernando is defensive midfielder. And then you have 2 creative players like La Rubia and Kevin, who are your other two midfielders. But I think they are more wingers than midfielders.
Well, Kevin,
If you
obviously.
would ask me.
Yeah, Kevin
So,
is. But I'd say Larubia, I've always said Larubia should be behind the striker. That's where
yeah.
you should play.
So that's how I should play. But then, like, what is it that we are playing? Are we playing a 4-4-2?
I personally think, because I saw on the Giri Cast graphic, and I'm not knocking our graphic making team, but I do still think David Larubia in this game. I think we're playing more of a 4-2-3-1, but Larubia is not as close to Roberto as I'd like, and then Dione's doing his own thing. But I want to come back to Dione with this game. We could perhaps talk maybe because we're not going to talk about the game if we keep going around in circles with the 11. Maybe we can go back to it in the preview, because Alex has mentioned the penalty. Initially, I was like surprised, and then saw it back, and I think it was a penalty, and it was definitely against the run of play. I said I wasn't very confident when he stepped up to take it. I think we talked about on the live stream about it. So, Chris, how did you feel about Roberto on penalties duty?
I felt the first thing that worried me, because the foul was on Dione, that Dione also was the one who's going to take it. So when Roberto took the ball, I was happy it wasn't Dione.
I'd agree with that.
So I felt not Dione, and then I just didn't care anymore.
Well, I said, like, my confidence sort of came from, I was like, well, Kevin took one last time, and he took like an excellent penalty. But to be honest with you, I didn't really see Kevin as much of a penalty taker, but he did take a good one. I thought, well, maybe Roberto can take a good one too. And it was a good penalty.
I'm very sorry, and it sounds strange, but with Kevin, you never know. That's my thing. He's like my Balotelli.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
He's like Malaga's Balotelli.
Oh, Balotelli. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, to some extent. Maybe.
So without the crazy, well,
we did talk off air, Chris, about
but without the crazy things, and not being able to put on his training stuff,
I want to see Kevin now score the penalty next time and pull his shirt up and it says, "Why always
Kevin can make you I don't know, like the most insane goal, and then he can do something strange 2 minutes after.
We're yet to see him back heels.
You see the interview with Merida when he says, so he had no more strikers, and then Balotelli got got the yellow card just before halftime, and then Mourinho spent his whole 15 minutes talking during halftime to Balotelli. Mario, please, I don't have any more strikers. Mario, please, I cannot change you. Mario, please don't get another yellow card. Please, Mario, I ask you. 50 minutes. 5 minutes in, Mario, Balotelli, yellow card, red, off.
Yeah. I think that was out in Moscow as well. So there was I might have got it mixed up with someone else, but I think there was a theory that Balotelli just wasn't really enjoying playing in the cold. I don't think Kevin's on this level. I think this is a tad harsh, but I guess I get the erratic comment. I will go with that. Just to plow through then. So not long after, again, we said Malaga, the goal didn't really seem to inspire them. Merida carried on, sort of, it was a bit more even, but they put a few crosses in, and they cross across the box, was sort of tapped in from close range. Alex, could we have defended better, or is it just one of those crosses that you can't really defend?
No, I think Einar, I seem to remember, was struggling behind. I feel like, that's one thing where he's a brilliant defender, but he doesn't have the pace. And I think that's where he gets caught out sometimes. And, he got showed up there. So I can point all the fingers at Einar. I think that was a shocking piece of defending.
You're right, actually. And then we've just talked about him, Chris. He had been quite quiet, Kevin, because I think I noted in the live stream that the ball seemed to be going down our right a lot. And I was sort of saying, why don't we see what happens if we put it down the left. And, maybe Kevin wasn't calling for enough, but he did break into by the edge of the box and played in David Larrubia, who slotted home against his old club, didn't celebrate.
He started celebrating. And he said, fuck, what am I doing?
I'm not big.
Yeah, he did. Sorry.
I'm not big. I do think it's okay if it's like a club which has helped them progress. So I was like, okay, whatever. But
I don't know. Just celebrate it. Unless you played for Malaga scoring La Rosaleda, then you shouldn't celebrate, because then I don't like it. No, I'm joking. I mean, it's very respectful to do.
Yeah. Quite a nice goal, I thought.
I'm going to say something about this goal.
Go for it.
The most beautiful goal of the season is definitely for Haitham.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the best goal of the season so far.
Okay. In what way? Like, what did you like about it?
Because the pace of the attacking. Yep. The pace was good. There was no putting the ball back or strange things. It was pass to Kevin, and Kevin gave the pass back to Larrubia, and it was a goal. Very easy, very fast. Best goal of the season so far.
Alex, what do you think about that comment?
No, I wouldn't say best, but I think it was a good goal. It calmed the nerves a little bit. I think at that point they were going hell for leather at us, and I think that maybe put a bit of a just stopped them and sort of I'm trying to think of the phrase, put a halt to their advance.
Stop them in their tracks.
That's the one. Something to do with sales. Yeah, there was so many going
on their sails.
That's the one. Yeah. I've got too much Spanish in my head. I think it definitely calmed the nerves, because especially if we were to go in 1-1 at half time, I think obviously there was still 15 minutes to go, but I think going in ahead at half time just calmed the nerves a little bit, and especially coming out in the second half, we could be a little bit more in control, and rather than looking for that winner, we were able to slow the game down a bit, and they started to flag towards the end of the second half, I think.
Yeah, just to go before we talk about the second half and go back to what Chris said, I think what I would say about you saying it's the best goal, Chris, and I get you've got a really good point, actually. I think how I would see that goal, and I totally agree with you, it's the goal we want to see a bit more of this season goal.
Yeah, we didn't see so far.
It was nothing like it was a really nice goal, like you said, but it was nothing spectacular. But it
wasn't.
But we could do it more. It's something that we
had the best setup.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have put 4 or 5 past these guys, I think, if we were, on it.
And the thing is, because Larrubia didn't even take it like really nice on his foot or something. But the setup was great. If you ask me, Larrubia totally missed the ball and was lucky that it went in, but
yeah, Kevin put a nice amount of pace on it that all Larrubia had to sort of just connect with it and they'd go in.
Yeah.
But yeah, as Alex just said, let's go to the second half then. I don't think I read the article. I saw in Malagai's match report, like comparing our performance, because they were trying to go off the whole Romano thing, saying it was like Monty Python in Roman and The Life of Brian. And I think they were just trying to say it was a funny, stupid performance. I can't remember if I actually read it. I just made a note of it. But I think you're right, Alex. We could have put 4 or 5 past these, but we just sort of just shut off. But equally,
we're making ourselves difficult again.
Yeah, exactly. I think they look like Chris said. These guys are really down the bottom of the league in awful form, and they looked absolutely hopeless in the second half. And thank God, because a better team would have, I think, done something to us. But they looked
in a lot of matches we play. We are our biggest enemy ourselves, as being Malaga Club de Football.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I guess, like we could have had like a Murcia game where we could have just gone, okay, let's just wrap this up. And obviously,
yes and no, but because Murcia was really bad.
Yeah, well, that was like Monty Python stuff. That was like slapstick comedy. Some of their defending. To be honest with you, Alex,
that was Benny Hill moments.
well, no, because Benny Hill suggests there's people running around chasing. This was just sort of, yeah.
I guess for the first 60 minutes, they were the fastest team in the West. I tried to put that in such a way.
When it came to doing like the sort of notes and things for this podcast, I was a little bit like, well, what do we say about the second half? I just sort of remember, I think we were just having a bit of a chat on the live stream, and I was drinking Verano, which might explain why I don't have much to note about it.
I'm going to be honest. I think, again, this was the most boring second half I've ever seen.
I think the conversation did spread to talking about brandy butter in the second half. So if that says anything about the whole game, they did score just before the break that was given offside, luckily. But to be honest, apart from maybe, the odd sort of corner, and we did seem to slow down a lot. Luckily, they did as well. And, I think...
If there was one goal coming in the second half, it wasn't from our side.
No, I don't think it was from them either, really. I think it was destined to, I think in a way good that we scored in the second before the first half break, because I couldn't see us scoring. We should have done. I couldn't have seen us scoring in the second half.
I will just add, I'd say the one positive to come out of the second half is I do think the three youngsters that came on, Musa, Cordero, and Aaron, were good. I thought they all did.
I didn't see Aaron very much.
Oh God, didn't you?
Yeah, I see him being tackled the whole time, but
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but in a way, it was quite effective in just sort of killing the game off.
Yeah, but you cannot say like he played amazing the game again, because.
No, but I mean, like, he had an impact in the fact that he just made them frustrated, and like you said, they kicked the shit.
But if that's the thing I'm looking for in a player, I'm not really one of the people.
No, of course not. But I mean, in this game,
it worked. It worked.
Yeah, I mean, in this game, it worked. Like it was a very different performance to the sort of lovely show he put on against Eldense. But yeah, I thought Musa looked good again. I really think he sort of emerged from nowhere in the past week as like, oh yeah, I forgot he's good, as I think we said on the live stream. Cordero looked good as well. The feature's bright. The feature is Malaga. I don't know, guys, if you want anything to add about any part of the game before we say Chumbo and Biznaga, is there anything?
No, I think generally, it's a sign of it, and I'm not calling us, we are a good team, but I'm not calling us a top team. It's a good sign that on your bad-ish days, you can still get 3 points, albeit Merida were pretty bad as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Chris, anything to add, or do you want to just go straight into Chumbo and Biznaga?
I don't really have much to add.
Okay.
It was horrible.
Yeah, you probably are right, though, Chris. I think I would agree with you. As the second half goes, I'm very happy I was maybe not in Merida and sitting in my flat drinking Tinto de Verano, having a chat with the lads. Okay.
I think it was the one moment where I thought, like, please let it be over. Please. Let me do something else with my time.
Yeah. I got some Patron at the end, so I was happy. Okay. Chumbo. I'll just say mine first, and I think you mentioned him already, Alex. I thought Einar looked dodgy. Wasn't awful, but he's the only one I could really remember looking really bit worrying.
I'm going to join you on that one. I think, mistake for the first, for their goal. I thought I was, usually it's around this time of the podcast that we talk about how disappointed we were with Dione, but I actually thought he did better. Wow. I think he seemed to stick a lot more through the middle. And, I don't know whether he was trying to play more as a sort of, I guess, number 10 is not really his natural role, but sort of behind Roberto in that way. But yeah, other than Einar, I couldn't really fault anyone. I think Einar he had a bad performance, I think is fair to say.
Yeah, we praised his black boots last week. Looked like he's wearing coal this week. He just looked slow. Chris, anyone different?
Just to make this podcast not any more boring, because I wanted to go as usual with Diony, but that's like becoming a real boring thing, and I don't want to touch again in the upcoming weeks.
You can't give it to
Einar as well.
You can't give it to Mario Molina or Juan Hernandez this week.
No. So I'm going with Einar as well.
Okay, well, because I started Chumbo, I'll start with Biznaga then. It was close for me, and one of the ones close for me was Diony. I thought Diony was great. I thought he was good. And I think we talked about in the live stream, we've given the Biznaga to Aaron because obviously, 16-year-old kid having fun. But Diony was probably the best player in the Aldense game. He was brilliant. He was doing the Diony thing of dropping deep, but he was like getting back up with it as well. And he looked really good. And I think he wasn't as good in this game, but I think he was linking things up a bit nicer, and he does need to do more still. But I think there's a positive Diony performance. But I think I thought La Rubia was good. I was really impressed with Musa when he came on, but my Biznaga has got to be Roberto. I think he was working his socks off again and scored the penalty. Alex, what about you?
Yeah, no, I think agree with you on that. I think Diony, put in a really good performance. I think hopefully that's the start of a few games where he starts to find his feet and makes room for himself in this team, because if he'd have carried on in the form that he has been in, it's hard to find a spot for him in the team. I think Kevin played really well. The assist for David Larubia's goal was a wonderful ball across. David Larubia again was fantastic. I think, Genaro didn't really get a lot. He didn't have loads to do, but I think he controlled the midfield very well. The defense was fantastic, barring Einar. Herrero had another day at the office where he could just, twiddle his thumbs and not really do a lot. But yeah, I'm going to go with Roberto. I think the penalty, putting himself about there, a ball for, I don't know if you remember sort of early-ish in the first half when he put the ball across the penalty area. I can't remember who shot and it was cleared off the line. I think that might have been Danny Lorenzo who shot.
Yeah, that was you mentioned that actually. That was a great clearance off the line.
Them. But yeah, I think Roberto just, effort, quality, and the goal to top it all off. And it was a good penalty.
Just quickly before I go to Chris's Biznaga, just one other player I was going to mention who I think's had a good week and was good in the cup game and came on and was good at this. Juanpe's had a good week, I think. I've always been on the fence with Juanpe, but I think he's had a good week. So I just thought I'd give him a bit of a mention as well. Chris, your Biznaga.
Hard to choose when three people set up such a nice goal as the second goal was. I'm going with La Rubia.
Okay. I think that's
because the goal ended with him, but it's all three of them.
Yes. Let's hope we see more of those three creating goals together. And let's hope that starts as we play our last game at La Rosaleda in 2023 against Algerciras. I think we should start by mentioning that that was an important result against Merida, even though it wasn't a great performance, because the league reads at the moment Malaga in 4th place on 32 points, Antequera behind them with Algerciras in 5th and 6th on 27 points. So that has put a little bit of gap, more of a gap between those two. And obviously, if we hadn't won, that gap would have been much smaller. And we're still 5 points behind the top two, Castellon and Ude Bifa on 37 and Cordoba on the same points as us. So does that mean that result, Alex, was a quite a big one for us go ahead of the winter break, because it does mean we're going to be in the playoffs halfway.
Definitely. I think, obviously the statement of the obvious, you want to win every game. But I think more so than others, obviously the games of the teams around you, they're important for various reasons. But I think that head-to-head thing, it could become a thing at the end of the season that decides, which position you're in the playoffs. I don't think we'll have to worry about top spot. I think Castellon will get it, but Ibiza seem to be, making a push for it. They're equal on points. But yeah,
a little wobble, haven't they?
Yeah, so I think it's all to play for, and in a way, it's good that they are having a little bit of a wobble because it opens the field up for the other teams. I don't want them to do it; I want Malaga to do it. But yeah, I think the draw against Cordoba, the win against Antequera, I think a game, even just a win, puts us that little bit further away from Algerciras. But then, come the end of the season, when you go to those head-to-heads, if you've got a win, that does really help. And yeah, I hate the word must win because you want to win every game, but I think it'd be nice to go into the Christmas break on 3 points.
Yeah, I'm sure like either next week or maybe the first episode of 2024 will have some sort of mid-season review, but we're sort of happy where we are at the moment, Chris.
I think if you would ask any of us this summer if we would be in third position together with Cordoba, fourth maybe,
yeah,
I wouldn't believe you. So yeah.
And like you said, I know we've said it for weeks now that we think we can play better still, but we're not playing like brilliant. I think we're good. So hopefully that develops in the new year.
I don't know if we can play better, if I'm honest.
I don't know either, which is sort of like
I think we can.
I've just realized I don't think we mentioned it at the end of the last section, but we should say the team we had on the pitch at the end was the average age 23 and a half or something like that.
Yeah, I mean it was 25 just generally with the older players playing. I said the older players, compared to the younger players.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah, so no, I think just even without the young players on the pitch, it was an average age of 25. So when those young lads come on, it does drop a little, and yeah, it's nice to see, isn't it?
I mean, let's be honest, we're halfway through the season.
Well, almost,
and yeah, one match to go. But we're halfway through the season, and I think we are all waiting for that moment that we are going to play better. But when you're halfway through the season, I don't know. I don't think it will get any better with the players we have.
Yeah, but there's also as we keep saying, the young players, they can still be developed. I know what you mean. We have said it a lot, but
yeah,
my sort of feeling is they will get better and we will get better, but maybe next season.
Yeah, not this season.
Because that feels more of a thing.
It depends on your signings through the winter if you will play better. But the way as it is now, it's not. I mean, we're halfway there, and we are saying every week, no, we will get better, and we have a good team, but we're halfway through the season. So I mean, let's be honest. I mean, unless a Christmas miracle happens, I don't see us. Alex, are you awake? Hi, Alex.
I'm just looking at the league table. I trying to look at some other teams that, to be honest, I don't think we have to worry too much below Intercity. I feel like, beyond.
I feel the one I would argue that I thought when we played the Recreativo, they looked like quite a tough team. I still think they could make a push.
Yeah, I think they're just above Intercity.
The teams below us, like chasing, we're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking about Cordoba because I would like to end up in the third place instead of fourth, because that changes a lot with when playoffs are here.
And should say as well, I'm just looking at the table. Our next 3 games are all against teams. Well, 2 of them just below us. Obviously, Algerciras at home, Then it's Intercity away. Oh, sorry, there is a game in between, and then we go to Ceuta. I can't remember who we play at home after Intercity. I've forgotten who we're playing then. But so the next 3 games are against sort of teams sort of in the area around us. I guess Ceuta are 10 points behind, or more. Yeah, 10 points behind, or 9 points behind. So maybe not so much. Algerciras, guys. Another Andaluf derby at La Rosaleda. Do we know much about Algerciras?
Another bingo card that we haven't ticked off in a few weeks.
Okay.
Jack Harper's brother used to play for Algerciras.
Really?
Their last few clubs. Ryan Harper, who's now Jack's agent, and also Fede Valverde's agent.
Ah, you told me this when we was in Madrid. I forgot about that. I'd had too much to drink. I remember.
It's in the province of Cádiz.
Say that again, sorry.
It's in the province of Cádiz.
Yeah, it's we can perhaps do a little bit more about the place when we play them away, but fair to say it's not one of the jewels of Andalusia to put it from. It's a big old port town. I've only been there once, and that was when I went on the boat to Morocco, and
it's a place where you would pass through with the car with your windows closed and your doors locked.
I've been there a few times, not to Algeciras, but to go to Bahia Park, which is a water park, somewhere you might end up taking Javi at some point, Chris. It's a big water park.
I think I keep with the water parks around here. We have one in
I don't think so.
Mijas, we have one in Torremolinos.
It's a good one to be
fair. There was a Netflix series about Algeciras and La Linea.
Yeah, it's called La Linea. Yeah, it was great. It's a really, if anybody, obviously we've got a lot of Gearys listening. I don't know if you can get it on British Netflix, but if you can track, great. If you can track down La Linea, it's like it's like 3 episodes, I think, and it's all about all about the drugs coming in from Morocco. And
let's say if Algeciras Football Club stands for Algeciras the city, then we can expect a lot of high pace in this. A lot of pace in this match.
Yeah, it's just the TV series follows the Guardia Civil as they go to drug dens around La Linea and Algeciras.
It's insane. That is insane. It starts with I will only tell the start. It starts with a boat.
Yes.
How do you call that? Sailing, driving? No.
Like I sailing. No, it's a speedboat though, isn't it? And it's just like crashing on the beach.
Yeah. And it's going. It. How do you call it? It goes over a police officer. Nearly kills a police officer. It's insane.
And I've been to La Linea a couple of times before then, and it's fun. I've been out at a couple of nights out in La Linea, and it's a bit rough around the edges, but it's good fun. There's good people there. But I watched that and I thought, oof, yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. Anyway, the football team, I guess we should just say a little bit about them. I noticed they do have the 2nd best defense in the league behind Malaga. Malaga have conceded 11. Algeciras have conceded 12. They're one of the lowest scorers in the top half as well of all like the teams chasing. They've scored, I did write this down, 17. And we keep talking about Malaga needing to score more. We've scored 23. So I looked at their team. There wasn't too much going on there. They do have, I'm always careful saying this country, a Niger international. I think that's how you say it, which I thought was quite fun. And a former Colombian international youth goalie that played for Depo and Ponfe called Lucho. They were the only 2 players that stood out. Should we drop in? Because I've made a note of it, but as Luke Chambers messaged us for the WhatsApp group, they do wear red and white, and it's one of those clubs in Spain which supposedly wears red and white, having got their shirts via Southampton, via Gibraltar, it seems. I know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I think we were debating the Sunderland. I do like it says he's American, Jack Imperato.
Yeah, I saw him as well. Sorry, I've meant to talk.
I think an interesting one. Yeah, because obviously they're the British link, so I don't know whether you know, because so many teams claim to have their colours from Southampton or Sunderland, and I think also Blackburn is the reason. It's a sort of cross between Blackburn and Sunderland, the reason why Atletico Madrid wear blue. Algerciras obviously the same colours. It's an interesting story.
Yeah, it's
It's red and white, and I mean,
well, the athletic club bit, I think, is there's
yeah,
a lot of it comes from, again,
very cool.
if you want a really good football book to read, I definitely recommend reading Mista, which is all about all the English managers which travelled around Europe, introducing football to Europe, and there's a lot about Spanish football in there. And obviously, lots of them left from Southampton, so that's why Southampton gets mentioned a lot, I think. I was going to mention Algeciras' form. I forgot to do that. They seem to be a bit erratic from looking at their last 10 games or so. There's a lot of draw. So they've got from the 7th of October, they've gone win, lose, draw, lose, win, draw, win, draw. So they are undefeated in 4. They seem to be a bit all over the shop. So that's fun.
Well, a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's always fun.
The most boring match.
It's got 0-0 written all over it.
Yeah, it's got 0-0 written all over it. Both have a good defense, and both teams don't score a lot.
Well, their last game was a 0-0 draw at home against Ibiza, so there you go, which is a good result for them, actually. So going back to Malaga, is there? I don't think we've got any sort of new injuries in regards to the starting 11 that played. Was
Juan Hernandez and Manu Molina come back for this one? I'm not sure because they were out with muscle injuries, or
Yeah, I think they won't make it.
Okay, and then obviously the obvious.
It's Wednesday, and I didn't have any intel in that they both are back in training or something.
Sangali?
I wouldn't expect Sangali either.
Yeah.
Just quickly on Manu Molina, I don't know if you saw him. Who he did an interview this week, and he said Malaga's great because everybody in Malaga supports Malaga, and they don't talk about Real Madrid and Barcelona. And I thought, oh, well, you've not lived here very long, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But I love the fact that he says it, that he recognizes Spain's problem.
But to be fair, like, I don't know where he lives now. We talked about him being a Huelva boy, but I'm sure he lives quite close to here. You do see a lot more Malaga this season, I think, than since I've lived here. I'm not saying there's like, the streets are swarming with Malaga shirts all of a sudden, but I've definitely seen more.
Everybody owns something of Malaga.
Yeah, everybody's got the purple and green tracks.
But everybody owns something,
Yeah.
Like a lot of tourists buy something, and everybody who's from Malaga owns something of Malaga Club de Football.
I will say.
But then when you ask them, which club do you support, they will say, I support Barcelona or I support Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the case.
But I'm from Malaga, so I also like Malaga.
I don't think it's a case of a fan in this sense, but I was in the gym the other day and I saw a guy wearing Malaga shorts, and I looked at him and I was like, oh, I sort of pointed at his shorts and I was like, he looked back at me and he was like, what? And
I would do that to you.
Yeah, I don't know what this team is. Sort of like, I'm just wearing these shorts.
Oh my God, that's sad. And then did you give him the history?
Yeah. No, I went up to him mid exercise and just 20 minutes.
Yeah, you talked about Jack Harper to him. No, but listen, I mean, if you're Manu Molina, I mean, what does he expect when he walks through Malaga? You're walking through Malaga and you see Manu Molina. Oh wow, Manu Molina. Can I take a picture with you? And oh yes, Real Madrid is so good.
Yeah,
I'd
be surprised if people are stopping Manu Molina to ask for photos.
No, I probably wouldn't recognize him.
No, I don't think I would. I will say just quickly on that though. I was going to say since I've lived, and obviously I work in a school here, and there's lots of kids that love football. More so than any other year I've lived here, loads of them come up to me and say, did you go to the game this weekend, sir? I went to the game this weekend, sir. And it is a little bit like you said, where they all support most of them support Real Madrid, but a lot of them are going to Malaga games. It does make you sort of hope that, you know, the way things are going now, and, you know, the stadium's good and there's a good sort of vibe around the club in amongst the fans, at least. Obviously off the pitch has its issues, that they pick up something from that and maybe get sucked in, but we'll see.
How many of them are really Malaga fans, man? Of your
I don't really.
students?
Zero. There's one I can think of who, and they had Battle of the Bands at the end of last year in June, and he was on the drums, and he wore his Malaga shirt on the drums, and yeah, so I was happy. I was quite proud of that. And it was funny in parents' evening when his dad, who I think is English, because it's a Spanish family, but I think dad might be English, he sat opposite me and said, "Oh, so you're Mr. Matt, the Malaga fan?" I was like, "Eh?" And I forgot I've got a Malaga badge on my laptop, haven't I? I've got a Giri Army one. So I was like, "Oh yeah, that's me." So we ended up talking about Malaga for about 5 minutes, and then be like, "Oh, you know, I probably should talk about your son." But yeah.
I used to go to a British college here in Benalmadena, the British College of Benalmadena. I went 1 year, and then at the end of the course, I had to take a family member with me to talk about how I did on school. And my uncle said, "I will go with you."
Did your uncle speak English?
And I remember him entering the school, and my head teacher was Mrs. Hughes, or Mrs. Hughes, and she was great. And she said, "Sit down." So me and my uncle sat down. And then he said to me, "I don't speak English." And then she started talking about everything, and he would be like, "Yes, yes, yes." And she would look, "No, no, no, no." And then, "Yes, yes, yes, yes." So then we went home. He said, "I didn't understand a word." And we drove back. I live with my grandparents. And when we arrived at my grandparents asked him, well, like, "How did it go?" And he said, "Very good." Everything was perfect. Yeah, very good. Chris did very well. My grandpa said, "Here you have like 5,000 pesetas."
What's that in today's money? Is that like €2?
And there were most things. Well, things were good, but there were also some things who weren't that good.
Yeah, we use the
was
kids.
perfect.
The kids usually do translate for us. If like I'm getting better now, like I can sometimes, if the parents can speak to me in Spanish and I understand their questions, but I'd like to talk about a kid in detail. I definitely have to speak in English. Anyway, there's a bit of a Costa del Sol culture chat there for you. Does anyone say anything about the starting 11? Do you want to change anything else?
No, I think keep it fairly similar. I think if it's not broken, don't fix it. In this case, it's not exactly fully welded together. It's sort of holding on by a thread. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think keep it as it is. Maybe does it feel too risky playing Musa and Murillo at the back together?
Yeah,
it might be a bit of a step too far.
The one I'd say the only one I'd be interested, wouldn't have any issue is, and I've sort of said his name already, I wouldn't be that bothered if Juanpe came in for one of the centre midfield spots. Don't mind which one. I'm
going to say something very, very ridiculous.
Oh, that doesn't sound like you, Chris Marquez.
Chris, and I think I mean it.
I'm going to have to sit down here because I don't think I'm ready for you to say something of such silliness.
This is the maddest you will hear the whole season.
Got the end credits ready to press just in case. If Chris is saying this is ridiculous, I'm worried. Go on, Chris.
No, because I'm practicing in better behaving. I don't know if you're noticing.
Yeah, generally, fair point.
Yeah.
I'm trying. It's hard, but I'm trying for our future.
It's like
that's all I'm saying.
It's like I feel like Mrs. Hughes now, so I'm saying you're doing very good, Chris.
Yes. So here it comes. I'm so sick of Dione that I want to see Lauren start for a change.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, the first bit.
Especially after last weekend, I thought he was
Because
all right.
maybe we always give him like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Maybe he needs 10 minutes to get started. So I had enough for a week of Dione.
But we
I
did
want to see Lauren.
Oh, actually, oh no, I think they both played. We did start him against Melia, and as we know, I think Alex pointed out, that is the last time we won at home, and I think Loren started that game. And I think we all said he was useless, but we did win, and he only scored actually. So
I just want to see something different and give him a chance. I mean, what do you have to lose?
wow, you are behaving.
Never thought I'd hear Chris say that.
Yeah. There's the headline for you.
I mean, we can always substitute him in the 20th minute, after the first half or in the 60 minute.
There you go. All we're asking is give Loren a chance, apparently. Okay. That seems like it to me, guys. I don't know if there's anything we need to mention or plug. No, read Malaga Gaga if you've not already.
Yeah, really great again. My picture is in it.
Yeah, we're the models in it.
Yeah, nobody asked for permission, but I'm in it.
Yeah, Dan, it wasn't me.
No, and it's fine, and it's no problem. I didn't expect it, and then I saw my little ugly potato head in it, and I thought, "Well, you ugly motherfucker, you made it into Malaga Gaga." So, it's my moment of fame.
I was going to say, Chris, if you've got a problem with being in Malaga Gaga, I've got some news for you. You should go on YouTube and check that out.
Yeah, no, I just didn't expect it. I know this is going to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then everybody was bragging about being on Platini played for Kuwait last week. Did you listen to last week's pod, man?
I think I started to listen. I think the problem last week was I lost my headphones for a few days. So, and I usually only listen to podcasts when I'm running or going somewhere. So,
don't worry, don't listen. Nothing important.
Okay.
It wasn't going about Platini played for Kuwait or anything.
Okay. I had a feeling it might, to be honest with you. So it's fine. It's probably best.
So yeah. No, that's it. If you didn't listen to this week's Platini played for Kuwait, very interesting. They been on the England B podcast.
Not out yet. It's out tomorrow. No, the England B team podcast. We're on our podcast.
Yeah.
And shout out to the England B team podcast, by the way, because Joe of them, his top listen on his podcast this year was the Geary cast. So
really,
yeah,
I never listened to them. I'm sorry, Joe. I will listen to you.
But he's going with his girlfriends from Cordoba, so he's going to.
I know. We follow each other, and there's a big love, and we might make out with them someday. But
it's exclusive. There is negotiations of I can't say the word reciprocation because we did Bayer Leverkusen episode because they both spoke Bayer Leverkusen, which will be out by the end of the week. And there was talk of me going on there and doing. They said Spanish football. I sort of looked at them and said that'd be cool, and they said, "Oh, maybe Malaga." And I was like, "That's cooler."
She loves in the air.
Yeah.
What is their podcast about? You can plug them now. So let's give them a plug.
Just random football stuff. For example, they do a lot about Leverkusen and Chelsea, but they also did like an episode all about footballers' haircuts. That was quite a fun one. That's the only one coming off the top of my head now, but they're good. It's similar to Platini played for Kuwait, so
I'm not really sure if I'm interested in listening to Bayern Leverkusen stuff because I don't know anything about it, and it seems like a very boring.
It's not like it's every week they do like we do. They've just done like a one episode on Bayer Leverkusen, and they sort of mention them.
But from what I've heard, it's a great podcast. Everybody should listen to it, and if you don't listen to it, I will find you, I will hunt you down, and I will kill you if you don't listen to the England B podcast.
Okay, and also if you
is that good?
That's fine, yeah. And
Or was that one of the things I shouldn't do anymore?
no, you can do that. And just in case,
It's all these new rules are difficult to me. This is going to be a problem here.
Stop interrupting me as well. Because I wasn't here last week. Yeah, go listen to me and Alex Ashmore do another podcast together as well in our green club. Platini played for great episode. But read Malaga Gaga. Let's finish with Malaga stuff. You can look at the photo of Chris and read words.
You can also listen back to my episode on Platini. Oh no, shit! Oh,
We're saving you, Chris.
Never invited. Never.
You have been invited. You have been invited. I've even told what we're going to do about, but it's too soon to touch on that episode. It feels two worlds colliding. They don't need to collide yet.
It feels too soon for Chris Marquez. That's what my wife always says.
There you go.
It's too soon.
And he was behaving well.
Thank you all for listening. This was the Geary Cast. Matt, you want to say anything? Vamos Malaga.
No, I'm done. So I will say thank you, Alex Ashmore.
Thank you very much. Vamos Malaga. Here's for 3 points on Sunday, Saturday, or Friday, or maybe Monday, depending on what day of the week the Spanish FA decide to do it.
Banter. Absolutely. Thank you, Chris Marquez, for behaving.
Thank you. I made it till 1 hour and 15 minutes behaving. So I'm on my way. I'm getting there.
Brilliant. And I will say thank you to you guys, the listeners. As always, the best thing about this podcast, tell a friend about us, subscribe, etc. on YouTube, on your podcast app. Follow us on Twitter at GearyCastPod. And we will see you soon. And you can listen to us soon.
Yes.
Adios.